Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel. The resistance during Trump's first term from 2017 to 2021 was incredibly influential. It helped elect Joe Biden to the presidency, and it ushered in the quote-unquote woke era that influenced politics and culture until very recently. However, ever since Trump was elected to a second term, it almost seems like they have disappeared. At the very least, they're not as influential as they once were, all while Trump is more aggressive and more powerful than at any point in his two presidencies. So once again, I come to Washington, D.C. to the Not My President's Day protest to see what is going on with the resistance and to see where the opposition stands in light of everything that has happened up to this point. The wind here is crazy. I thought it was going to be less cold than last time because technically the temperatures are higher right now. But oh my goodness, the wind, I mean, as you can see, the wind just makes this feel just as cold as last time, if not worse, to be honest. So, you know, we don't escape that, not even this time. I have my poor camera guy here freezing to death, you know, so hopefully we can get this done quick. So I'm here with
Tina.
Dorothy Garcia.
B. Evans from Washington, D.C.
Alfreda Hughes from Washington, D.C.
Anita.
Give me
And Mella from Washington, D.C. We are the seniors.
Yes,
we are
we
seniors.
represent the seniors here in Washington, D.C.
Joseph.
Elaine.
David.
Briella Fullerton.
And her mom, Lori.
Liberty and justice for all, Kimba.
Bob Speth.
why are you here today?
I am protesting this hostile government takeover. There is a man who is currently, taking charge of our taxes, all of the things that we paid into the government, reducing services for people who really need it, and he's the richest man in the world.
I'm here because I feel helpless, and this is all I could think of to do at the moment.
I'm protesting for two reasons. No billionaires in the White House and no supporting the RFK Stadium billionaires. Taking our tax dollars, $85 million to support the NFL? No, that's not right. Use that money otherwise.
And I'm voting for Musk shouldn't be in the White House, and they should put civics back in the schools because these kids do not know about their democracy.
And I'm voting for Department of Education Pell Grants for my grandchildren and to bring civics education back to these middle school kids.
To ask Congress to do their job, to protest the spread of fascism in America.
So I see that you brought the NATO flag. Why do you bring it?
NATO is the strongest alliance of liberal democracies on earth. It's been a force of good in the world, deterrence that prevents the spread of totalitarian dictatorships and regimes, and it's stopped countless genocides across the world for, 35 years. It's a great organization. We should not pull out of it. We have to keep NATO going. It's a force for peace in the world.
We're here because we didn't elect Mr. Musk, and we want fairness in our country. We don't want to lose our democracy over these crazy decisions that are being made.
I'm here because I don't want America to lose our place in the world as a protector and helper of people that are in need, that need us.
Because Trump should not be our president. He's just a bad influence on the country and us. He just doesn't deserve it.
I feel like it's not even about politics anymore or philosophy. It's about protecting the Constitution, and I think it's a Republican Congress, so sure, we expect things to sway the Republican direction, but we didn't expect this complete just ignoring law and Constitution. So that's why we're here.
Because this is abhorrent. The so-called president and the so-called assistant without any clearance, who's a billionaire earning billions of dollars in government contract, which come from your taxes if you're an American, and my taxes, is funding his SpaceX program. Trump is unilaterally trying to dismantle people's lives without thinking about their families, their rent, their freedom to be who they are. He's going after things that are full of hatred, and he doesn't represent me at all. And this is President's Day, but he is not my president.
I am here because I want to defend democracy against the tyranny of Trump and Musk, and that other guy, J.D. Vance.
Of all the things that have happened in the past month, what is it that concerns you the most?
The most, oh my God, there's so many things though. The most is saying, trying to sabotage and dismantle a lot of the systems that Americans have already paid for, that we all have already, I've already paid my taxes for this infrastructure, for the people working for our country to, keep the streets paved and keep, kids getting lunches at schools and all that good stuff that we've already paid for. Cutting those programs is wrong and it's unfair.
All the people who are losing their jobs, their benefits, the world. The U.S. aid thing bothers me to no end. I'm genuinely worried.
Elon Musk, an unelected government official that nobody even saw on a ballot, taking charge of so much that affects our daily lives.
Oh, wow. That's a hard question because so much has happened. Just watching him make all those executive orders and cutting out the federal workers and education department, it's too much to name. It's just so much we got to stand up for. Get back to the Constitution and our civil rights, our basic rights. Spending my tax dollars the way you want. No, that's not working for me.
And report it to the director.
Bring civics education back. Please do not shut down the Department of Education. We have special needs adults, IEP. Please, they need the money, the loans. These kids need to be educated. Thank you.
And also, we don't need a narcissistic in the White House. He's a narcissistic mega billionaire. We don't need him in there.
We just want to be here and be with the people to let them know that this is a melting pot and you can't stop it. Just so blend together, stop the hate, put out the love, because love wins.
I would say probably Mr. Musk going in with a sledgehammer and just tearing apart organizations that he knows nothing about.
I agree. There are processes in place for him to get his agenda done, and he doesn't have to do it through only executive orders. And doing it that way without any approvals of Congress or the people that actually control the purse strings is unconstitutional and not how we're supposed to run this country.
Wow.
Like everything
It was hard even to make a sign, to choose one thing. Because there's so much that's just outrageous. I mean, things that are hurting our own citizens, like cutting U.S. aid, and $2.1 billion is no longer going to our farmers. None of it even makes sense. It's just the overwhelmed strategy is definitely working.
Price, taking rid of Americans' rights, our fundamental rights for liberty and the pursuit of happiness. He is everything that he criticizes everyone to be. It's a reflection of who he is. There's not one single positive thing that comes out of his mouth. It's all hatred and taking away people's rights. It's taking away and ruining, not loving, not giving, and it's sickening.
Well, I'm a biomedical researcher, and I feel like he's damaging biomedical research. He's making America worse than it's ever been in history. It's just a travesty what he's doing.
According to most recent polls, Trump's approval is still in the positive territory. Do you think that has to do with a failure of Democratic leadership and their messaging, or do you think it's just too early? Why do you think so many people, in spite of everything, still approve of the job he's doing?
I think they're in an echo chamber, believing all the lies that are fed to them.
Same.
Democratic messaging is weak, unfortunately, but it's too early. We haven't had all the knock-on effects of people not able to access any of their benefits or all the knock-on effects of being unemployed.
I think there hasn't been enough time for the effects to trickle down, but I think cutting down a lot of government services plus the rise of inflation is going to make people stand up and take notice.
I hope there's more love than hate. And I hope it's not about racism, but just people, you got enough power, okay? So what's the point, You need to direct those questions. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do in my lane, making sure my community is heard and protected, and learning what I can to do to continue to uplift my community and the Washington area. So,
do you believe the polls? I mean, were they all right about the last 3 elections?
Good point.
Trump has never won the majority of the votes. That's a fact.
I think it's the media. It started with Fox News, and now it's in a lot of other places. I will tell you, most of my family is brainwashed, and they think Trump is a God gift to man, and he's not. He's an evil man, and so is Trump. And if we don't stand up and make that known, we're going to lose our country, truly.
Sorry.
I think that the problem is people aren't feeling it yet, because I don't think people pay enough attention to the media to know everything they need to. And so they're going to start feeling some of these lagging indicators from all the things that are getting shut down, and that's going to eventually hit the wallets of people that are thinking things are going great because they see all this stuff closing, not realizing that's going to affect them down the line. And once that starts to happen, I think support is going to go down.
Well, the price of eggs hasn't gone up to $10 yet. When inflation starts going out of control, then I think you're going to see the approval ratings go back to where they should be.
But the courts have already begun to block some of the things that the Trump administration and Doge are doing. Do you trust that that's going to be effective, or do you believe that the courts are just not strong enough to stop what they're doing, basically?
I'm hoping that by all of us coming here, we can give the courts some ammunition to stand up to the Trump administration. The challenge is, who's going to enforce it?
No.
Why not?
Well, because he's been Supreme Court granted the powers of a king. You know, what was it, back in July? And things just languish in the courts. It's almost just for show, to be honest. I mean, eventually it might do something, but not now.
I hope it does. I feel like there are a lot of people right now who are preemptively capitulating even before they have to. I think we all need a little bit more of a backbone to stand up and exercise our rights.
you know, I'm not that politically aware about how the courts are going to handle that up there, but all those organizations like the ACLU who are fighting for our rights and all the other ones, please continue to fight. And when you call for demonstrations, Miss B gonna show up.
I can't say what the judges and what the courts will do. I hope that the checks and balances that were written into the Constitution work.
I do. I have faith in our country. I have faith in the courts. And with Americans who are able to stand up and protest like we are doing today, I'm a positive person, and I think that we're going to come through this just fine. But we have to speak up.
I'm concerned that by the time the courts actually come through, that there's going to be too much damage for. It's going to eventually come back, but it's not like you can flip a switch off and turn it back on and have everything get back to where it needs to be. So that's my concern, is that it's not going to come back in time for it to make a difference.
No, probably not.
I wish I was more confident.
Nothing is fruitless. If you stand down and be quiet, your voice is never going to be heard, and that's also why I'm here today.
My channel is a politically neutral channel, so if there's a Trump supporter watching this video, what would you like to say to them?
I don't think you should be, like, standing up for him. He's just done so much that I can't even trust him anymore. What he says is most likely going to be a lie.
I guess I would want them to look for the actual facts and see what's really happening behind the curtain and then make their judgment. Yeah.
I would say I don't think you voted to have unelected officials taking charge of your lives. I'm pretty sure that's not what you wanted. And so far, nobody's helping you bring the price of groceries down or really helping you in day-to-day lives.
This is not about parties. This is not about red and blue. This is about love of country and love of democracy and standing up for the rights of our children and as well as their future.
I hope it's not about hate. Let's do fair budgets, okay? let's do fair budgets when you make these decisions. Don't exclude the poor and those who are weak, who can't speak up. It's not about big business, but it's enough out there for everybody. So stop the hate.
It's a very sad choice.
I would say you need to watch the Rick Steves documentary on fascism that you can find out there online. It's all about what was happening prior to World War II and how the German people looked the other way and didn't help and didn't take action when they needed to. We're all the things are lined up and we're ready for another world war, and we can't survive this next one. If we go to World War III, there's a good chance we won't survive.
I mean, I'd say they have to understand what it means to at some point be tricked in your life, and that's pretty much it. I would always ask people, I said, do you know what it's like to buy a timeshare, right? You bought the timeshare, it's okay to admit it as long as you eventually admit you bought the timeshare. And they just need to keep an open mind and look at what's happening and see the response from somewhere that's not Fox News.
I don't understand your thinking.
Well, I hope there will be an election in 2026, and it won't be like Putin's Russia or North Korea. I would say to them, please take into consideration what's going on now. The way Trump denied knowing anything about Project 2025, and now what's happening is they're implementing Project 2025 exactly as the blueprint set out. So these people were duped. And, I hope they're able to have enough critical thinking skills to realize that we've got to go back to being a democracy and get rid of people like Donald Trump and Elon Musk and all the criminal associates that, he's bringing into the government.
Let's say that the courts, let's say the Supreme Court, for example, rules a certain way, and the Trump administration, as some Republicans have been implying they want to do, just decide to ignore the ruling and go above the law. What do you think the American people should do in that scenario?
We need to speak up and we need to protest like we're doing now. This is part of our legacy of our nation. As a daughter of the American Revolution, I am very proud of my ancestors who protested against tyranny, and we need to do the same. This is our time.
I mean, we need to then be calling our senators and our congresspeople for another impeachment as quickly as we can, but I just don't believe that we're going to get enough support for that and enough people actually standing up and doing their job, because they didn't before. I see no reason not to, so we just have to keep active like this and keep coming back.
We don't want to do what Trump had his people do, tear down things, but we're going to get to the courts and we're going to continue to protest, continue to march, continue whatever processes we need to do to stop this. I don't know what they are, but I know there are some people out there who are more politically aware and in the law, in law, who knows how to stop it, and hope those people stick to their guns and don't give up. We need the leaders out here showing us the way. But we know what basic rights are wrong are. So I'm going to be out there.
I don't know. I hope we have some great leaders that step up and, fight fascism and, help maintain a liberal democracy where all people are equal and free. That's it.
All that's left is revolution.
Fight back.
Yep. We're going to continue standing up. I mean, I think that person, that man with the orange hair, has it coming to him in the next life. I think he's going straight to hell. I think he'll get what's coming to him.
I think there's going to be more and more and more of us out demonstrating, and at some point in time there's going to be enough of us that their abuse of power is just not going to stand up against the will of the people.
Oh, that is tough, because everybody says contact your representatives, and my representative actually listens, so contacting him won't help. You know what? I'm not sure, to be honest, other than contact your representative if they're not working for you.
Well, there's a saying, and I don't know who to attribute it to: when injustice becomes law, resistance becomes duty. And that's what I would encourage everybody else to do.